Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, have been expressing concerns to Spotify about COVID-19 misinformation but say they will continue to work with the platform. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex signed a lucrative deal with the streaming giant to host and produce podcasts, estimated to be worth around $25 million £18 million, in late 2020. The Mail on Sunday's Charlotte Griffiths has since claimed the royals have no plans on returning the money. Speaking to Palace Confidential on Mail Plus, Ms. Griffiths said, "I don't think they'll ever hand the money back, but I do think they can sort of hide behind this because it's been a good year or so since they actually released a podcast." Archie spoke his first words on their last podcast, so that shows how long ago it was. "I think if there have been delays behind the scenes, they can slightly hide behind this and use it as an excuse for another delay. I don't think they'll be handing the money back, I think they'll be hiding behind this for a few more months." It comes after a number of artists ditched the platform due to controversial content such as the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, which has been known to air vaccine-skeptical views. It comes after Joni Mitchell announced on Saturday that she would remove her catalog from Spotify in solidarity with Neil Young. Young's music is being taken down from the platform after he reportedly offered it an ultimatum to remove either his work or the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. Following Young's reported concerns, Spotify said it aimed to balance both safety for listeners and freedom for creators and had removed more than 20,000 podcast episodes related to COVID since the start of the pandemic. It acquired the Joe Rogan Experience podcast in 2020, reportedly for more than $100 million, £77 million. Besides, royal expert Richard Eden says they have been stuck between principles or money. He said on Mail Plus Palace Confidential that the situation was a nightmare for the Sussexes, pointing out that while they campaigned against misinformation, their decision on Spotify showed that money came first for them. The royal commentator said, "For years they've gone on about the dangers of misinformation, it's become a real pet cause of theirs. And then here they are with Spotify, accused of spreading misinformation through Joe Rogan's very popular podcast." But Harry and Meghan have signed a very lucrative deal with Spotify that's meant to be worth £18 million. So between the principles and money, it's always a question of which will they go for, and it seems they've gone for the money. They put out a rather sort of mealy-mouthed statement about the dangers of misinformation, but they've made clear they're sticking with Spotify. So it looks like sort of Joe Rogan's one really. Eden, meanwhile, pointed out that Rogan was a hard worker and created hundreds of podcasts every year, whereas the Sussexes had only produced one. He added, "My goodness, we've only had one from Harry and Meghan for £18 million, so they're hardly providing value for money." Royal expert Neil Sean claimed the Sussexes may have to continue working for Spotify or be ordered to return their $25 million, £18 million, fee. Mr. Sean claimed, legendary singer-songwriters Joni Mitchell and Neil Young have decided to pull their product from the platform simply because they said they don't agree with a certain element of it. "It's interesting because you can only really do things like that when you are an international success, when you're worth millions of pounds, so you can make these grandiose statements. What is interesting is there are certain people that truly rely on the income that Spotify does deliver for their brand." Harry and Meghan have released a statement claiming they are staying with Spotify, but what is the reason why? So far Spotify has paid Harry and Meghan an installment for these podcasts. If they decide to go out against Spotify, it makes it very difficult for Harry and Meghan because they would have to return that installment. Last week, an Archewell spokesperson said the couple are committed to continuing their work with the streaming platform. "Hundreds of millions of people are affected by the serious harms of rampant mis and disinformation every day," the spokesperson said. "Last April, our co-founders began expressing concerns to our partners at Spotify about the all-too-real consequences of COVID-19 misinformation on its platform. We have continued to express our concerns to Spotify to ensure changes to its platform are made to help address this public health crisis. We look to Spotify to meet this moment and are committed to continuing our work together as it does."